Alright guys, today we will be making some upcycled book trees. If you have an old book laying around, then this is the project for you. You can also do this with magazines, construction paper, printer paper. Just make sure that everything is cut to the same size. So the first tree that we're going to make will look like this, where the tree is still attached to the book, or at least it looks that way. And to make these, it's very simple. It's just folded bound paper. And if you haven't already, just bind your paper with some glue. Some hot glue gun seems to work the best. And you cut the pages out, starting with the paper that is connected to the cover. And so you just gently go through and cut that on the front and the back, and then rip off the cover. And as you can see, these pages are still bound together fairly well, and so I probably won't have to go in and glue them. I didn't have to go in and glue them. I did have to glue them on the first project because the book was a lot older and the pages weren't as thick or as well bound. So that's something to keep in mind. But for this one, the glue held together very well, and so I just had to separate them for the projects. And as I said, we're going to make this tree first. So I took out 40 pages and then set the other part aside. In total, it was over 100 pages, but I saved the other part for a different project. So start with the 40 pages, and then, as I said, if your pages are popping out of the glue as you fold them, then just stop, use the clips on the top and the bottom of the side, and then use a hot glue gun and glue it up. And you don't have to worry if the glue drips a little bit on either side, because those pages on the front and the back are going to be hidden anyway. So don't worry about that. So we start, pages look clean, everything's the same size. We're going to take the top right corner and we're going to fold it down into the left seam so that the top of the page aligns with the left seam. And I'll do this a couple times to show you, and I'll try to do it as slowly as I can. And so you fold that. You want to make sure that it's folded really well so it doesn't easily pop back into shape. So again, I'm going to use a pen so you can see more clearly, but we are going to take the top corner and we're going to bring it down to the left seam. So I just marked it. A connects with side A. And fold the crease again. And now we're going to take the folded side and fold that into the left seam as well. And just so you know, as you fold these pages, the more pages you use and the thicker it becomes, the harder it's going to be to fold these pages over when you're done with them. And so keep that in mind, especially if you're using thicker paper. So this is what you get after you fold the second time. And you'll see this little flap at the bottom here. And you don't want to have to cut that. And I mean, you can, but who has time for that? And so what you're going to do is fold it up first to create the seam. And then you're going to flip the page and fold it under on the same seam. And as you do this, and when it becomes harder to turn the pages, you can do this without flipping the page over. You can just slip it in, just fold it under. It's hard to explain, but As you get to do it, you'll realize. Another thing with this project, because of all of the sliding your fingers across the paper, I highly recommend to have some lotion nearby because your fingers will get very sore and dusty at the end. So again, you bring that corner down and you bring that side over. Fold the seam so it's nice and sturdy, and then fold in and fold out and turn. It may take a few tries to get it, but that's okay. It took me several tutorials to figure out how to do this, so there's no shame. And I would recommend, don't do this to just any book. Like, I wouldn't make one of these with 50 Shades of Grey, for example, depending on what kind of company you'll have over at your house. You just never know if somebody will actually sit down and read your book tree. And these book trees, even with the pages there, they will stand on their own. I recommend this as more of a on-the-shelf decoration, but you can just leave it freestanding on a table. And what you can do is, on the part that's still a book page, the non-tree part, you can put a Christmas card. You could even do some kind of transparent drawing, so either with colored pencil, lightly done, or maybe watercolor paint. It's a little risky with the watercolor paint, but it could look really pretty. Maybe if you put cardboard or something under the first page. But then again, you may not have to worry about the bleeding through the pages anyway. You can also decorate the tree itself using maybe some glitter glue or some paint on a sponge and just go along the edges there to just show that it's green and add more contrast. I didn't do that this time because I kind of like the natural look, but that is something that you can do. You could even put in, different cutout stars or baubles. And if you keep folding it all the way to the end, you end up with this shape. So this is a full book tree. And so I just folded that book until the very end. And if it's not full enough, mine is, but if yours isn't, then you can staple the back ends together or glue them or tape them so that it keeps its conical shape. Something else you can do if you want a really big book tree or a really full looking book tree is you can have 40 pages like this one and then make another one just like this one and then connect them at the sides. But that would be a very big book tree. And these are the finished products hanging out with my mini Christmas tree. And thank you so much for watching.